Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're taking a look at 5 of the best free-to-play MMORPGs that you can play right now in 2023. As always, this is a personal list of my own and in no specific order here, but in my opinion, these are 5 of the best MMOs out there that you can begin playing right now completely for free. Let's get right into it. Starting off at number 1 is Guild Wars 2. You've probably heard of this free-to-play MMO before, and there's a good reason why. Guild Wars 2 offers multiple great fully voiced storylines and quests to go through, as well as a large, beautiful world to explore with dynamic events giving you something new to come across every time you play. It features 8 different classes you can pick from called professions and an action-based combat system different to what you'll find in most other MMORPGs. You can attack while moving as well as roll out of the way and dodge enemy attacks, and your skill matters here more than your gear. Guild Wars 2 offers many unique dungeons and raids, and for those who enjoy PvP, there are multiple types of PvP that you can take part in. There's structured, competitive PvP, which gives players access to top-level equipment and all of their available skills and traits right away. And then there's world vs world PvP, which doesn't, but still boosts your character to the max level. This means if you want to take part in competitive PvP, you can do that pretty much right away without needing to get to the max level or spend time obtaining the best gear. Everything is normalized, meaning you can just jump right in and your skill will be what really matters, unlike in most other MMOs. But if you want to take part in world vs world PvP, where you can get into way bigger fights with more players, your level and gear will matter, which gives you something to work towards and a reason to level up and try to get better gear over time. I think this is a pretty great balance and respects your time, and that's one of the main reasons that so many players love the game. It can be great for those with less time to play, but who still want to be able to take part in everything that the game has to offer. Guild Wars 2 is completely free to play, but it does offer expansions that you can buy if you enjoy the game enough and want to play through everything that it has to offer. And it has no subscription. Moving on to number 2, Albion Online is a free-to-play fantasy sandbox MMORPG featuring a player-driven economy, classless combat system, and intense PvP battles. Albion Online is a very popular MMO that offers deep crafting and gathering systems as well as crossplay, meaning that you can play on Windows, Mac, Linux, and even mobile devices with Android or iOS. It's easy to run on any platform and offers content to those who enjoy PvE as well as, of course, PvP, with that being the main focus of the game. There's a lot to do in-game, but it does have open-world, full-loot PvP, and while you might find some 1v1 fights, you'll often run into a lot of bigger roaming groups as well, and so you'll probably want to join a guild at some point. Albion Online does appear to be a pretty great MMORPG that many players love, but it is an isometric game, which means that the view you'll have when playing is similar to League of Legends or Diablo, and it doesn't have a regular first or third person perspective in-game. That could be a game breaker for some, but if you like that or can get past it and you enjoy PvP, Albion Online is probably one of the best free-to-play MMORPGs out there for you that you can play right now. The game is completely free to play, but you can pay for a premium subscription priced at around $15 a month, and if you really want to get the most out of the game, you'll probably want to, but it's not totally necessary. At least you can see if the game is for you first, without being limited or needing to pay at any time. Next on our list at number 3 is Star Wars: The Old Republic. This free-to-play MMORPG offers an interactive storyline with cinematic dialogue and full voiceovers for all in-game characters set within the Star Wars universe. It has some of the best storylines in any MMO and even outdoes many single-player role-playing games in that regard, but also features multiple large planets that you can explore and action-packed, story-driven adventures called flashpoints that you can solo or group up for. These are the equivalent of dungeons in other MMOs, but offer a different take on them and can be a lot of fun to play through. For those who enjoy PvP, there are 2 main types of PvP that you can take part in, which are war zones of 8v8 and arenas of 4v4. There was a recent update completely revamping the PvP system, and you can now take part in as many PvP matches as you'd like as a free player, whereas before you were limited. There's also a new PvP points system that's been added to the game, as well as a PvP rewards track, and so you can now earn PvP points for playing and completing any kind of PvP content. There are now also PvP vendors that you can buy PvP gear from using the PvP season tokens that you get from the PvP reward track. A lot of players enjoy the PvP in this MMO and have said that it's a ton of fun, so it could definitely be worth trying out if it sounds interesting to you. Star Wars: The Old Republic is free to play and offers a huge amount of free content, including all 8 of the original class stories and access to PvP, but you'll be limited to level 60. If you want to get the most out of the game and get to the max level of 80 along with access to all of its content including all expansions, you'll want to subscribe, and this is priced at about $15 per month. Moving on to number 4 on our list is Lord of the Rings Online. This free-to-play MMORPG features a massive, beautiful world based on Middle-earth from the Lord of the Rings franchise, as well as an excellent soundtrack and great writing faithful to the Lord of the Rings lore. It's an older MMO but has had many expansions and updates over the years, as well as graphical overhauls, and is still loved by many players to this day. It offers an epic story along with thousands of well-written quests, as well as a crafting system, housing system, and even PvP, though in a very different form to PvP in other games. While there's PvP in this MMO, it's pretty different from what you'd expect and is called Player vs Monster Player, or PvMP instead. In PvMP, you play as or against other players as a monster, so you could become a monster with unique traits and abilities and try to kill other players that you see, or try to kill those who are playing as monsters instead. Sadly, you can't use your normal character to fight other players also using their own normal characters, but Lord of the Rings Online is more focused on PvE, and so it might not really be the best game for you if you're more interested in PvP instead. Lord of the Rings Online is completely free to play, but like with most free to play MMOs, you'll be limited in some ways without paying, and will only be able to do quests up to level 95, while the max level is 140. You can still get to the max level of 140 as a free player, but you won't be able to access all the quests that the game has to offer, so if you really enjoy the game, you may want to consider paying for more of the content that they offer, but you definitely don't need to, and the free to play experience offers a lot already. And finally, moving on to number 5, we have EVE Online. This free-to-play sci-fi MMORPG set in space is a sandbox MMO and features one massive server for all players, as well as a huge player-driven economy. It offers a large, persistent universe for you to explore, along with beautiful graphics, a great soundtrack, and some great storylines that you can play through, many of which are now fully voice acted. Players can take part in a number of in-game professions and activities, including mining, piracy, manufacturing, trading, exploration, and combat, and you can do pretty much anything you'd like in the game due to it being a sandbox with no specific paths that you have to follow. It's had many expansions and updates since it was released and offers a ton of PvE as well as PvP content. The game is filled with in-depth lore that's interesting and varied, and for those who enjoy PvP, this game is considered to be one of the top MMOs for it due to the nature of the game itself, being a true sandbox. You can go out looking for players doing PvE missions or mining, for example, and then try to kill them or slow them down so much that they can't escape, and then ask for a ransom. You could also find yourself in huge battles with thousands of players all fighting for control of territory deep within space. You could also form a corporation, which is EVE Online's equivalent of a guild, and mine together or become traveling traders hauling huge amounts of cargo, or just looking for other players to kill or try to ransom like pirates. There's a lot that you can do in this game and too much to get into in this video, but it is one of the deepest MMORPGs available to play, with a huge dedicated player base playing every day and a large learning curve. But many friendly players and even corporations are willing to help newer players out, and if you like the sound of the game, it may be worth a try. Like with Albion Online, it does have a specific type of view that you may either love or hate, and it's definitely a more complex MMORPG, but if an in-depth PvP system with player politics and a huge player-driven economy is important to you, it's definitely worth checking out. EVE Online is completely free to play, but again offers a limited experience to those who don't pay to subscribe. That being said, you don't need to pay anything or subscribe to be able to have fun and progress in this MMO, as a huge amount of content, including PvE and PvP, can be accessed without any restrictions. But subscribing will offer you access to more ships and skills in-game, as well as double your skill training speed, along with a few other things. If you find yourself really enjoying the game, you can always subscribe if you want to for around $15 a month, but you don't have to pay at all to enjoy a lot of what the game has to offer. And so, with number 5 out of the way, that's all for this video guys, but I hope it helps some of you out there find a new free MMO to play that sounds interesting to you. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions as always, and let me know what you think of these MMOs in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.